This is the Actor Factor podcast with Brad Ashton and Diego Garcia. Today's guest, artistic director and actress, Taylor Gilbert.
Welcome to another episode of the Actor Factor. I'm Brad Ashton.
Diego Garcia, welcome.
Hey, man. So you were just digging through your phone, and you seem really, really busy as we're going live right here. What is going on, man?
No, well, I like to clear my messages as I see them come in. If I have a minute. It just bugs me if they start kind of adding up. Yeah. But I'm always got like an email out or an audition going, or maybe I'm waiting to hear back from somebody. So I'm always right. If I have a minute, I'm going to go check, clean up the email. Yeah. But I just recently worked on like a dubbing thing. I do English dubbing for Latin TV shows that go to Netflix.
Love it.
And I've been lucky to do that for, I think I'm going on almost 3.5, 4 years now.
Wow.
And
hey,
these guys, Horseless Cowboy, they have this studio over in Burbank. And you guys should actually use Brad's voice as well.
Come on. So go get to your story. What's going on? There's something live happening with you right now.
Literally. So I'm just getting tagged like on Instagram with their flyer of that show that I worked on. That's just now released on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So if you go check out this show called
congratulations, man.
Let's see, if you go and watch the show and check it out with the English dubbing, you can hear my voice in there somewhere.
Come on, man. It's what I want to do is hear more of your voice.
Daddy's on Request.
Daddy's on Request, Disney Plus. You did some English dubbing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this one was a Mexico City, Zacatecas production.
Wow.
Yeah, super fun. It's
I think it is hella fun, man, because this is exactly what we talk about every day is what's going on with your career. Yeah. Are you doing something, you got something in the mix, something in the works, and it's really awesome if you do. And as we were about to go live, Diego picked up his phone and started like bing, 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 started getting all these notifications. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then that's when we're like introducing the show, and then he was able to tell you the story. So
and I just did. Yeah. You did, and it's fantastic. Yeah. Because I do usually start off by saying, I had an audition that I'm not going to get. I get really negative and aggressive.
Yeah. We only jest.
Man, the more we do this, though, I love it, right? Just always like just being active and having something and working on anything, good or bad, like giving your best, going with how you feel that day and really,
you got to put yourself out there, know who you are, know your product, and you're selling yourself. And it's really fantastic that, work begets work. You're doing this little gig here, and then you have this other thing that just popped up that's way much bigger, Disney Plus. They're a little bit bigger than what we have going on.
I wonder if that's usually it's Netflix, but
hey,
Disney Plus.
Either one, take either one.
There's so many TV options.
There are a lot of streaming, but this is super fantastic good news, man. And you see, look, guys, you just got to keep at it. You got to keep at it, because you never know what project you've worked on before, at what point it's going to pop and something's going to go, and then it's so cool, man. And that's what's exciting, especially in our career. We're lucky, man. It's like Christmas every day, isn't it?
It definitely can be.
It can be like,
especially if you treat auditions that way, and or work, or if you already got jobs that you've done and maybe that one check has come in, right?
I think
where you are in the career.
I think your whole every single day is just like, even if you've done two things, one thing, man, every day is like Christmas. Because
I agree with you.
You might not be getting shit. You might not be getting shit tomorrow. You might not get a call from a friend. You might not get a call from the industry. You might not have any nibble on anything. You might not be able to put your foot forward to try something in the industry. And then some days like Christmas, you open it up a gift.
It reminds you that you are working. You have worked. And there these pockets or lulls or whatever it is.
But it reminds
it's just between work, but that doesn't change that we're doing this every day.
Every day, and you should stay festive like you are during those holiday seasons if they're right. It is because whenever those times do come around, people feel like that way. Shouldn't you be like that every day?
Man, you should just be that way about life in general. Just because we both know it is way too short.
Oh man, how we do know that a lot of the good ones are gone, man. Gone are the days of good. It's
I love this because then we get to archive people as well. It's kind of nice, it's like putting out a record.
Ooh,
right? It just all it's recorded and it's archived for life. You have it forever.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I got into TV and film back in the day. And I know we don't have time for this right now because we're about to get into our guest, but you know, I wanted to live forever. And the only way to do that is to be, you know, on camera, right?
So
or recorded on a microphone.
That'd be a fun conversation to have. Like, what's the first thing you're in that's floating out in the world? Or in my case,
we launched our time capsules many years ago. You know, the first thing you got into, that was your time capsule in the world when it's out there floating around. And anytime somebody can archive and pull it out, be like, oh, this person lived here. Look at this, what they did. This is who they were. That was them, that living, breathing entity. Oh, man. Speaking of living, breathing entity, we have an exceptional guest today. Are you ready to chat just with somebody more exciting than us?
Oh, man. I feel so lucky and fortunate. Let's do this.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to The Actor Factor.
Our first question is basically, we like to know what actors are doing right now, whether they're in the middle of something or closing down a project or just got out of an audition, or what's going on in your life and in this business right now.
Well, specifically for me, or at the road. But if we're talking about the road theater company, you know, we closed a play in December.
Congratulations on Best Actress, by the way. Is this the play that you're talking about, Beloved?
Oh, thank you so much. No, that's not what I was talking about, but I really appreciate the acknowledgement. It was quite a surprise, and it was a lot of fun to be among some pretty special women in Los Angeles. That was a treat for me. No, but I was thinking that we just closed a play called According to the Chorus, which was the largest production that we've done since we opened the theater 31 years ago.
Wow.
And, you know, that was with 10 women, 2 men, and a dog. Yeah. So we had a great time doing that. And we are now in the middle of rehearsals. Well, we're not in the middle. We're just beginning rehearsal next week for a play that will open April the 14th called Scintilla, which was written by Alessandro Camon, who is pretty well known here. And we unfortunately had to take a step back from that play, and we were to open about 2 weeks into the pandemic. So we were almost ready to open when everything got closed down. So we're really excited about bringing that back to life and opening, you know, like I said, in April. I'm involved. There are a few other people involved that you may or may not know. David Giannopoulos, who is involved in the play. Donna Hyams is producing the play. Lance Guest will be involved in the second cast of the play. So we will have 2 casts of that play.
Oh, cool.
And we're very excited to be working on that. We're also working on, we have an under construction project that will be, this will be our 4th season of presenting Under Construction, which is a program that was developed by Carlisle King, and it's brought in 22 playwrights from around Los Angeles and the world. We have 2 different programs happening, one of which is in Los Angeles that is in person, and the other one which is on Zoom. And we're developing, or have developed at this point, 22 new plays.
Wow, amazing.
And that's, it is amazing. And it's going to be presented over the next 3 months, all of those plays. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, my gosh, man. Yeah, absolutely. How do you feel about theater? Has it really come back here in LA? 'Cause I know for a while they were just really trying to squish it. And with the pandemic and all that jazz, you know?
No, it hasn't. I mean, people are still nervous, really nervous. Yeah. It's unfortunate that, you know, tickets, no matter where you go to the theater, and I know people will, you know, it's bad for advertising, I suppose, when you tell people that, you know, you've got half price tickets. But the reality of it is, you know, trying to get people in has been very, very difficult. Yeah. And from I'm not going to name other theater companies, but the largest companies to us, you know, are all struggling. Mm-hmm. But Theater's been a struggle from the very day it began, I believe.
I guess so.
Oh yeah, I've been working. I worked at the Geffing Playhouse for many, many years as a crew guy over there, and watching shows come in and out of there, and they were always talking about how they had no money, and they needed to get bailed out, and then UCLA bails them out, and then ends up like buying them and all this stuff. It's just like theater is difficult. You wouldn't think that from an equity house like that, but it's like they all struggle. So. Especially
everyone struggles from the Amundsen all the way down. Yeah. Everyone struggles.
Yeah.
The bigger the numbers are, the more money you need, obviously. And the problems just, I think, are exponential sometimes.
Yeah.
But theater has never been a great business model.
That's true, Diego. And
I don't think, I've said many a time, don't expect to make any money, but expect to make a difference.
I love that. Yes.
I like that.
That's super cool. Hell yeah. There's nothing like live theater. Like Diego said, we both grew up in that, doing that in Houston, Texas, and that's what started my whole passion for acting way back in the day. And it's like, you can't fake it, man, on stage. You cannot fake the performance. The audience would know. Like, you got to be in it. It's got to be real, got to be raw. You got to be, oh my gosh, there's nothing like live theater. I enjoy seeing it. I enjoy seeing it and being a part of it. Yeah.
There's never that second take.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you get one tomorrow night, but
yeah, but depending on how your day affected you that day, your performance is going to be a little bit different that night. You're going to be bringing in different emotions. Your people acting opposite you might be getting different energy from the house. They might not applaud or laugh or how they're supposed to react. And it's like, so much. It's so much.
It's true.
It's like you're constantly driving a car at 200 miles an hour when you're on stage. And acting is like, you got to be alert. You got to be present and have fun. How long have you been doing theater?
The audience is always the additional cast member.
That's right.
And you know that's part of your ensemble.
Yeah.
And it can create a very tricky path for you because, if you get nervous about the fact that, oh my God, I didn't get that laugh there where I should have gotten that laugh. How am I going to get that next one? And you start pushing things, then it becomes worse.
Yeah.
You have to remember that even in a comedy, the lines are funny because they're honest.
That's right.
So being honest on stage is the real and only thing you should be doing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
When did you first realize you were going to be in the arts in some way? Did you start off thinking you were going to be an actress?
I watched my older sister, who was an actress in Indiana. She was working in regional theater back there, and I was really very young. And I started pretending to have these shows in my shower where I would use the curtain of the shower as the theater curtain and stand in that tiny stage of a tub for my younger brother to watch me. He hated it. I almost had to tie him down to make him stay and watch, but I didn't. But no, from a very young age, it was my desire to do that. My family was much more interested in me becoming involved in medicine, which for about one semester I tried to stay in school for that, and that just didn't work out. So I always knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And I left home very early. I graduated early. I went to college early. By the time I was 17, I had made a decision that this is what I really wanted to do, and started working in Atlanta, Georgia with different improv groups and going to different schools and classes that I could find. My parents were very much against it. So they decided that was it. They wiped their hands of it, and they came around. At some point they came around.
Yeah. Somewhat they always do. My dad was the same way when I was, because I mean, in Houston, Texas, grew up in Houston, Texas, and I knew from the 6th grade that I kind of wanted to perform, and that was only solidified more when I got into high school. But from the 5th grade up until high school, I was forced into football. And I say forced because I was a little guy. They all got bigger. I didn't want to play, but I was made to play. Yeah. And then when high school came around, I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to break any bones and get hurt. I'm sorry. Call me whatever names you want.
No,
but I'm going to be an actor.
Everybody plays football in Texas.
Everybody does in Texas. So. It's hard to break that.
Yeah, I have a similar story with my son. Very, very young. I was taking him everywhere, getting him involved in anything, all kinds of sports. And football, I thought, he's a big kid. He'll enjoy this, And I remember watching them at one point running some exercises, and I don't know what they're called because I'm sort of a Luddite when it comes to football, but it was so he had the ball, and all of a sudden the other side was going to run at him, right? What is that? What is that called?
Oh, they kick it off? The kickoff?
No, he was just going to have to hold on to the ball.
Oh, he's a running back.
So yes, the ball was kicked and he had it, and then he was just going to have to hold on to it and figure out what to do. So what is the ice game really stupid when it comes?
He's the kick returner. Kick returner. Yeah, he's the kick returner.
So
That's
the
it.
line coming at him, and I watched him. He looked at the ball. He looked up at the line. He looked at the ball again. He dropped the ball, and he went in the other direction. And he was so, he was embarrassed and crying and everything. And I said, no, that's fine. This just is not your game.
Yeah.
This is not your game. You'll find your game. Yeah. And his game is a guitar.
Ooh.
Okay. So he's another artist in the family, which is great.
Heck yeah. How big is the family?
We have 2 children. I have a daughter who is into psychology, and then my son who's into music.
That's fantastic. Your daughter can fix us all our mental problems.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
She's very, very smart in that direction. She's always been that way. It's just innate. And I think in a lot of us, that's what it is. When you ask, when did you find out? When did you know?
Yeah.
It's really innate in most of us, but we're not given the opportunity to figure it out because we're steered in a direction by people who seem to know better what we should be doing. You should be following in your father's footsteps. You should be doing this. You should be, Yeah, it's hard. The arts are a difficult path to find for yourself.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's true. I've had a lot of friends along the way that were, I thought, very talented, and they, tried to give it a go until they got so discouraged, whether it be by family members, spouses, friends, the industry itself, and they left. They moved home. They're other parts of the country now, and then they just have normal 9-to-5s and a family, and they're not as happy and fulfilled, I think, as they had initially thought they were going to be, but they're content, and it's just. Yeah, I wish I could have spurred them to keep going because it's really easy to get the turd out here and to lose that drive. And man, geez, don't give up. Just don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
That is it about not giving up. But unfortunately, the math of life has a tendency to put so much pressure on people that they have to make a different choice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I've seen in the past couple of years with the pandemic and now coming out of that and moving on, I feel like they're trying to price us out of California, just with the way the gas went, and now with eggs, just with everything, everything's gone up, and it seems like we're here in California getting punished, and the rest of the country's got it easy. Prices are lower and we're still high. But they're still building new apartments across the street, and there seems to be more people moving here every day. So
I think of that too. We're in the conversations of trying to find a home, and it is easier to find something just outside of LA, obviously, but and then now with auditions primarily being from home, you don't feel like you have to be in the city. That was when I first moved here. It's like I lived a block from Hollywood, thinking if I don't live in this area, then my chances are slim. But
and then remember, all of a sudden auditions would break up and you'd have what? There's an audition all the way over in Santa Monica?
That's right. I can't travel to Santa Monica.
That was like, and I'm sorry, it's at 4:15 today.
Oh, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's
right. And after 4 or 3 o'clock, you can't park on the street because that's when.
Yeah.
So you're walking a half a mile just to get to your audition, and you're in for about 15 seconds, and you're walking back to your car.
Well, we have to remember that living here is really it's such a delight in so many ways and such a drag in so many others, you know, depending on what you're looking at. The traffic obviously is one. We live in a city that has more people than most states.
Oh, yeah. For
so
sure.
we sort of have to figure out a way to put up with that if we want to be here. I love Los Angeles. I love what it has to offer. The good and the bad, you know, and I don't want to leave here. I really don't. Although we could at any moment, like you say, since everything is Zoom, or you know, you don't really have to be here in town for anything, pretty much.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hopefully that pendulum will swing, and it will get easier for us in the future.
That's for sure, because I don't want to move to Texas or Idaho or Wyoming or Oklahoma. I don't want to move it somewhere where
it's so beautiful out here. But I'm here for the weather.
Say no shade on Texas, but I don't want to be anywhere where it gets that hot and that cold at the same time.
Yeah, then where they got bugs, cockroaches that fly and pick up small children. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. Yeah, I much prefer the risk of earthquakes out here, but it's just nicer in the industry, and the you know, so vibrant, and just the energy here. You know, this is where things are happening, and it just feels like anything can happen. You could be your time at any time to, like, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's just, you never know. It's magical. It's magical every day, I feel.
It is magical for sure, and I love the camaraderie here. I feel like there's a much greater camaraderie than, say, in some of the eastern states, or you know, some other states in general. It's like, it's not like the really like neighborly things of the Midwest, but we're still open and happy to meet people and willing to participate, you know, in getting to know one another. I don't feel like we're stranded here like I have felt in other areas, for sure.
And what part of LA do you live in, if you don't mind me asking?
Sherman Oaks.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm in Studio City, right over here, Ventura and Vineland area. So
I love it. I used to live on the west side for a while. And when I moved here, it was great. It was a great move. My kids were going to be going out to school out here. It was just a fantastic move. And all of a sudden, I went, you can park in the city. You can park, you know, anywhere, you know, and Sherman Oaks, you could park somewhere. It was really odd to just come over that hill. And two, you know, we established the Road Theater Company in 1991 in the Valley. And for a very good reason. There were so many small theaters in like Santa Monica on Santa Monica rather, you know,
Theater
Row, lots of small companies in Hollywood, and we felt like we didn't really want to compete with that, which was either a wise move or a crazy move, either way you look at it.
Brilliant.
People had to drive out to a warehouse to see us in our very, very first show. We were behind the Burbank airport, and it was funny. It's like we opened with Balm and Gilead, and people really wanted to see it. You know, it's like, and this sounds really crazy, but there was a gate that had, you know, a keypad that you had to get in, and we weren't allowed to give everybody the keypad number, of course. So there had to be someone standing there at the door to let them in, and sometimes it didn't happen. And we'd have people park and climb over the fence.
Oh my God, yeah.
In the beginning, to get into this theater company.
Nice.
And the first show that we opened, which was Balm and Gilead, it was pretty environmental for that time when you think about how many years ago it was. And we have actors lying in the street. And now we don't need actors to line the street, unfortunately. But, you know, then, and it was like they were walking around and saying, you know, give me $5, I'll make sure nobody breaks into your car. You know, and then later they'd see those actors on stage in the show.
That's awesome.
You know, so that was the beginning for us. And we moved from warehouse to the Lankershim building to finally our last building on Magnolia. But we've always been in the San Fernando Valley, and the Valley has always really been good to us.
Yeah. Well, when you put out good work, you know, it's hard to have anything but success. Yeah, I gotta get over and see some shows from you guys, because I pass by y'all's theater all the time, and it's one of those venues. You always see something with posters up, or there's something always going on, and you're like, I gotta get in there, and then you just for some reason don't. And
it's been a couple. I think it was it just before the COVID hit? I went to see a play there.
I think it was the last time you were there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's 3 years ago, you guys.
That's too long.
Next month.
Man, that's too long. We'll get over there. We'll go sit and watch a show here soon.
Crazy. I'll have to get you guys involved.
Well, hey.
I know you're always involved. And talking about Diego, all of the festivals that we've had, you've always been
Playwrights
involved
Festival.
And been so incredible for our Playwrights Festival in the summer, and come out and play with your band or yourself. We can't thank you enough for that. That's been a real treat for all of us.
And I feel exactly the same. Super honored, super fun events always. And, as a singer, a songwriter, if I call myself that anymore, it's just because I'm just really getting my energy focused and getting back into, I want to do, like we said, theater, and get into some film and just keep this career moving and growing. But yeah, it's, when you go to, when you play for a room like the people at Road Theater that understand what it's like to be on stage as actors, and see someone performing, there's just such a great energy you feel back from them. So it's always such a pleasure to play in a situation like that, for sure.
Well, certainly I hope that that's the case, but sometimes I notice, people get so involved in themselves that they're having these huge chats and they're paying zero attention.
Yeah. Well, but that's okay. Well, that's a different situation, because you guys are coming off of watching 20-something play reads in 8 days. So when people get out of watching a performance, they want to chat about all that.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Like, I know that as a singer, that you play for a room, you just want people to stay in the room. You don't want to sing and drive them away. So whether they're listening 100% or not, basically it's about creating a space where people can be comfortable, stay in that room, listen to music, have conversations about their day. And that I know I'm always to expect there. So I never get offended or feel bad by anything like that.
You do that. Hallelujah.
Well, we're, it's the 13th or 14th season coming up.
It'll be the 14th. We're in the middle of, right now. We're in the middle of requesting scripts. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have within the next month probably 300 to 400 scripts that we'll read. Mm-hmm. Go through those, make our picks, and start what our new festival will become, and get that up probably in July. The second week of July is the plan for that.
That's amazing.
So right now we have 11 plays going up in the next 3 weeks.
Wow.
For under construction. And then we open with Scintilla for 6 weeks. And then comes the SPF Playwrights Festival 14, our 14th. In our 31 years of existence, we just keep our fingers crossed and keep moving. That's all we can do.
You guys are doing something right.
And I don't know if I mentioned this to you or if you saw it, but during the pandemic, we decided to film 2 of our plays on stage, fully produced plays. Mm-hmm. One of them, Reykjavik by Steve Yockey, has gotten all kinds of film festival awards.
Wow.
And so we're just finding out recently in Sweden and in Paris and Buenos Aires. So we're excited about that. And that play is online to be seen. So people should look it up, take a look.
That was one of the coolest things, to keep the festival alive during that time, to air it on through Zoom like that, and then to do the full plays like that, super unique. There's no wonder that it's getting so many eyes on it. That's fantastic.
Where do we see it? Tell everybody where they can see it.
Well, I can't tell you where Reykjavik can be seen at the moment. I'm sorry, I don't have the link in front of me.
Okay.
But if you look up Road Theater Company and go to our website, there'll be the links there.
Beautiful.
For sure. And we look forward to seeing you at the Road.
Heck yeah.
And, yeah.
Now,
on Magnolia.
I wanted to ask you from an actor's perspective, are you also in the self-tape modes? Are you getting auditions where you're self-taping? And what, when you get information just like the rest of us as actors, what are some tips or things? How do you go about breaking down a script, getting as much information as you can out of it? Is that something you're doing these days?
I don't do very much of it any longer. I do it when I'm asked specifically, but I am not in that arena.
Yeah.
When I started the Road, and that's 31 years ago. When I started the Road, I had to make a conscious choice at one point in time whether it was going to be that or it was going to be working as an actor all the time.
I can see
because
that.
you know how much time it takes up.
Yeah,
and
just energy
the Road
alone
takes up at least that much time.
Oh.
So there became a time in my life where I made the decision that for me, it was more important to create this space where lots of actors could come together over the years and work and create and grow.
Love that.
And I love, my love is sitting down, say, and watching The Hunters and all of a sudden seeing, in one season, dozens of roadie actors who are working on that show or have worked on that show and or other shows, So that's been what I wanted to do in my life. And I do from time to time send out tapes to different casting people that have known me from years ago and are interested. I don't have any major tip other than, being real.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's the big one.
Being real.
Yeah.
And because I think that's not only does the company of your audience understand and see that while you're on stage, you really can't lie to the camera.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just being real and confident. Those are the only two things that I can say.
Mm-hmm. And of all the shows you guys have produced, what was your ultimate favorite, would you say?
Wow, that's hard. That's my ultimate favorite.
They're all babies.
Yeah, they're all babies. Yeah, was there one that made you sleep a little bit better at night? That was just
something, and somebody's going to get real. No, I have different shows for different reasons. To be very honest with you, last season I adored working in Beloved. It was a great show, and since I was in it, it was fantastic. I don't mean that came out wrong.
No.
Since I was in it, that was a fantastic experience for me.
Yeah.
And I loved that play because it was with a new playwright. I was able to work with Sam Anderson and Cherish, and we created so many different, created so many different characters. Sam and I played one character throughout the entire play. And it was a very, very deep play about family dysfunction and problems with children. And, it hit us very deeply. So I love that play, but that would not be, and I love getting Best Actress. That was a terrific thing.
Oh yeah.
But I would say, in all honesty, some of the more difficult plays that we've had to produce, and being difficult for many different reasons, you guys can understand that. It can be from actors, it can be from directors, it can be from just the money you need to raise for the production. The difficulties can feel insurmountable at times. But last year we did a play called The Play You Want. Okay. And I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. Bernardo Cubriat was the playwright, and Michael John Garces directed the play, and it was so fun because it took on the world today and what we're going through and how people are being canceled and how people are getting their things done because of the situation of you're an old white man, we can't use you to direct anymore, so and you are you're the top person of color who should be directing, and it was, I know this sounds sort of like, I'm sort of touching all over the place on it, but what I'm saying is it brought in all these elements of things that we are dealing with on a very serious level about diversity and equity, but it was a comedy. And it was done with such deftness and that you could hear, laugh at what was going on and still walk away from it and say, oh my God, no wonder things are the way they are. I've participated in that. I've been a part of making these things happen the way they do. It's a hard play to explain. And yet it was, like I said, it was a comedy.
Yeah.
So and people needed that. People really needed a comedy. So for our first show coming back, that's what we felt like we needed to do. And the play was actually developed through our first under construction playwrights program. So we had developed the play in-house, which was great.
Oh my God.
And it's already got legs, and Bernardo's like busting out all over the place. So those are some of the fun things for me, to really feel like our favorites. It was one of the most difficult plays I've ever had to produce, but it came out as one of the best plays we've ever done.
Yeah, and then you get extended and keep on running.
And we ran, and we could only run for a certain amount of time. We did extend it on the end of the 3 run because we had 3 different plays running at the same time on one set, which was also sort of like, how can we get back into this arena and give the audience more work when the money has gotten so tight.
Yeah.
When you think about every part of it, every part of the money has gotten so difficult, from AB5 to lumber,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just extraordinary. So for us, we felt like if we did something in rep, we could give people 3 different plays, 3 totally different plays on one set and have a decent, which turned out to be probably our best critical season of all.
Wow.
But I could go back to plays from years and years ago that were standouts and moved to different theaters. There was a play called Woman in Black years ago, English playwright about a haunted house, and it was such a fun play to do, and for people would come time and time again to that play because they love to get scared. It was like, you forget that people love to get scared.
Yeah.
So I've been very grateful for my life in this theater, and I love watching people go beyond the road and then come back because they know that it's family and it's ensemble, and they may have just done a series for 12 weeks, and all of a sudden they're saying, do you think I might be able to audition for the next show?
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Once a roadie, always a roadie.
I love that. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I definitely got to get in and get over there. I do construction stuff too. If you guys are ever short a couple hands and need some set building stuff, I got tools and do a little bit of carpentry things. So if you ever get in a pinch, let Diego know.
Hey, we'll see you in March.
There you go. I'll bring my tools. That's yeah.
Be careful what you say.
Hey,
it's so true.
No, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy doing that for the theater. Diego and I built a couple spaces in Hollywood over the years, way back, 15, 20 years ago, just little black boxes near the Hudson.
What spaces?
Well, we had Theater Revolution, and we were actually on Santa Monica. We were right next door to the Hudson.
Oh, sure.
Which is now an animal hospital. And
yes, it is.
Oddly enough,
but we had converted that there and did put up a few plays. Literally built the stage, built the.
We did the seating, the booth,
sound system, throw the lights,
did the rig, everything. Then Diego did Spicorama, John Leguizamo's one-man show.
And then we also did that Scottish.
We did Macbeth.
You did Macbeth there.
Yeah, we did a few things.
And we just kind of we hosted different events where people come up and do monologues. It was a very creative spot. Wish we could have kept it a lot longer.
Yeah,
it's so hard. You were right next door to the Hudson.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you know Donna Hyams?
No, we met.
She was a producer over at the Hudson for years. It's funny too, isn't it? How people don't really, even though we want to be neighbors. A lot of times we don't know people who are right next to us.
Yeah.
You know, but it'd be great to have you two involved. Obviously, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, Diego, obviously you're already a roadie from, you know,
many moons. Yeah.
13 years, 14 years in running coming up. That's insane.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
No, but there's always been that little voice in the back of my head going, I need to go do a play and get involved over here at this theater. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Your commercials are so fun lately. I just have to tell you that.
I'm so grateful for that work. That Geico spot is really, it's a nice thing to have coming into the new year and sending in some good energy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. Wow, what a fantastic! You and I haven't really sat over the years and talked like this.
No, we haven't.
I'm so surprised after all these years. But usually when we see you, it's in a big group and there's a lot of people
vying for your attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversations everywhere. But I'm so glad that we were able to have a moment with you and talk a little bit about your career in a sense there and what you're doing over at the Road Theater. And I didn't realize it was 31 years. I think I'd heard that before, but 31 years, man, that's
this
epic.
Is our 31st season.
It's epic.
Pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know if you have any more time.
Yep.
Yes.
At all. But the road came into existence in a very peculiar way. For me. Now, this may not be peculiar for anybody else, but I was working on a play at, oh my God, I can't think of the small theater on Ventura Boulevard right now, and I don't know that they wouldn't be named anyway. But I was working with a group of people. I think there were 5 of us in this play. Yep, that's right. There were 5 of us in this play. But the lead was the playwright, director, lead actor.
Wow.
So you can just imagine how that came together.
Yeah.
And the show was so bad, it was like a train wreck.
Oh, no.
And the only reason people stayed opening night was because that's exactly what it felt like. You know, they just had to sort of see what was going to happen.
Oh, wow.
It was so bad. I was new here from San Francisco, not too long down here from San Francisco, and I had replaced a woman in the lead role. And when we opened that night, the director entered from the VOMs of the theater and onto the stage, and it was like totally shocking to me. It was like that we hadn't rehearsed that.
Oh.
That wasn't going to happen. So we knew from the very beginning everything was going to be weird. He opened a bottle of champagne and hit the lights, you know, and made some comment about the lights. And I remember going, cold duck, my favorite, you know, something like that. So at least there was a laugh that came out, you know, that people didn't, I don't know what, we had no idea what was going to happen with this play. It was the most surreal thing I'd ever been in my life and will ever be in, I'm sure. By the time the show ended, the cast came together and said, first of all, we've got to cut like 30 pages out of this play.
Oh my God.
And if you don't do it by tomorrow, we're all walking, you know? And it was like, okay, he decided that he was going to do that. He was going to do that. And we did it. And he was so angry the next night that he picked me up and threw me across the stage in a fight scene. And I hit my elbow on the corner of a couch, and it got swollen in just like 2 seconds to be like the size of a baseball.
Oh, no.
You know, we finished the play. All of us picked up everything we owned because, you know, during that time, anything that came into the theater that you were going to use wasn't going to be furnished by anybody else. You were going to have to furnish it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we picked up our clothes, we picked up our makeup, we picked up our props, we picked up everything, and we got together. We walked across the street to Jerry's Deli, which wasn't very far away.
Yep.
And all sat down and said, we've got to start a theater.
Wow.
You know, we've just got to start our own theater.
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened. It was like we couldn't possibly work. And this was really and truthfully only my second experience in Los Angeles, but my first one wasn't a whole lot better. And, you know, I had come from a city that had great theater, and I expected that to be the same here in Los Angeles, which it actually was and is. I was just in the wrong place at the right time to be able to start the road. You know, so out of that horrible experience came a really great history for us.
Absolutely.
Love that.
I love that. That's a great story.
So then you made that decision, and then how quickly, what building, what structure, where did you base yourselves out of? How did that happen then?
Yeah, did you start in the
we made that
room?
decision. Then we started reaching out to actors that we knew of like mind, certainly people who, you know, were ensemble type actors, and meaning that they liked that kind of feeling. And we created a group of probably about, I would say in the beginning, there were 40 of us, probably about 40 of us, who came together, found a space in a warehouse. Oh my God, I can't even remember but it was right behind the Burbank airport. And we rented that warehouse, and I think it was something like, I don't know, $1,700 a month. And we were trying to figure out how we were going to do that.
Yeah.
So we all came together and decided we would pay dues so that we could figure out how we could pay that. You know, we would be able to, everything else was paid for in there, the lighting, not the lighting, but the electricity and, you know, water and everything. So we knew we had a basic bill of $1,700 a month that we'd have to cover. Everything else we'd have to figure out. And the first show that we opened was Balm and Gilead, and it was 27 actors. And that show brought a lot of people. You know, so we were really lucky, and we extended that show. I think we had doesn't sound like a lot right now, but I think we had 84 performances of that show.
Wow.
You know, so it did really, really well. And that's before, you know, Equity cracked down and said you couldn't do that. And, you know, and all of those things made sense. We were found by the city of Los Angeles found us and said they had an idea for us after we had one season in that spot, that they had an idea for us. Wow. And they wanted to know if we'd be interested in moving to another warehouse, because that warehouse would have to give us rent free, because there was something called the Arts Fee Project at that time, where they had to give 2% of their worth to an artist. So either an artist could you know, hang paintings in one of the galleries. They could make a sculpture for the outside of the building or inside of the building. You know, there were all these ways. And another way was to give a space to a theater company.
Wow.
So within a year's time, we moved to this next space. And then that continued for us with the road on Lankershim, which I know, Diego, you spent much time there, which was a lovely building from the 1930s and had a theater upstairs and a gallery downstairs. But when I walked into it, when they were talking about it, the upstairs area, which became our theater, was basically an open air pigeon coop.
Oh, God.
It was so hideous. It took them 4 years to bring the Lankershim Arts Center back together again. And then we moved into that space. So, you know, originally we were going to call ourselves, because we were next to the Burbank Airport, Asphalt Productions.
Nice. Nice.
We decided on the road, which is probably more apropos for us since we've moved around several times, this being our fourth space. But that's sort of how it happened. Wow. You know, out of a hideous experience came,
put you in the right place,
some glorious times.
Yeah, beautiful building with the marquees, scrolling marquees, electronic billboards and such, man. It's beautiful.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
That's a dream.
That's what you dream of as a theater company.
And
you know?
Like we were saying earlier, when we were able to put this one building together, I think it was just unfortunate that not everyone above us had the same vision And if you don't have that, like you had the support of the community saying, we're going to let you use this space to do what you want. That is so much more different than having to persuade somebody that you're going to try to put, you're going to put a theater in their building, and if they don't believe in that, then you're already, we were pretty much screwed at the start at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. I mean, for us, the warehouse, besides the warehouse was basically all closed down, at night, with the exception of there was a porn industry directly across the street from us. So the only competition we had was between those two locations. But generally, there was no one there who cared, that we were going to be there at all. And again, in the second one, which was also a warehouse, it was the same thing. And then, of course, with Lancashire, that's what the city wanted. I mean, originally what they wanted was basically an art gallery. And I was able to persuade them that if we could have a gallery downstairs and a theater upstairs and be sort of a group of a consortium of arts organizations in one building, how would that work? And it did for a while. It worked for quite a long while.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I mean, that's stars aligning, everything going in the right direction. Everything led to where you guys are today. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, success. It's a success story, and it's still going.
I know.
I got to be a part of it.
Well, come and join us.
I'm gonna come down and start building sets. I'm gonna come out and build some sets.
So literally, there's plays that are up this weekend or coming up.
No, they're coming up. We have 2 workshops that are coming up in February.
Okay.
Just go to our website.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
The website or Rep's website.
And it's at roadtheater.org. And check everything out that's going on. We're going to have nothing up specifically in January. It opens in February with 2 separate workshops that we are doing for new plays that we pulled out of the last SPF festival, the last Playwrights Festival last year, that we are workshopping for possible production. And then we open with the first 11 of 22 under construction plays immediately after that. And all of this will be on that website.
It's amazing.
No, I'm scrolling through it now. Everything is so accessible. You got everything up here. It moves super fast. Donate buttons, buy tickets. Fantastic.
Yeah, those donate buttons are really important.
Yes, they are.
Really are.
Yes, they are. Oh, man.
Wow. Geez. We're going to have to bring you back and do another conversation another day, because
that'd be so fun.
It's always great knowing, and having more conversations with you, because there's always going to be something new that you're working on, and there's always new conversations to go in different ways. So we'd love to have you back.
Well, I appreciate so much that you called me. Thank you so very much. And I'd love to join you again any other time.
Oh, thank you very much, Ms. Gilbert. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Taylor. So we'll talk soon, and I'll bring Brad over to come catch a play soon, and we'll see how we can get it.
And I'll make sure there's a tool belt waiting for him.
Yeah, I'll just roll my little ditty bag over there and leave it, and I'll just come on over so I know where my tools are.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
You're listening to The Actor Factor.
Taylor Gilbert.
Taylor Gilbert. Look at that. Keeping theater going strong.
Being at the right place at the right time. Just, I did want to say, when you're in a production and it's bad, how do you, it's like.
Yeah. Well, you signed up for it. You got to kind of just grit your teeth and bear it and just push through, and you committed to it, man.
But if it wasn't for that, the spawn of creating their own thing and saying, we got to do this on our own, like,
who knows where she'd be and what she'd be doing.
What a great jumping off point from there.
Hell yeah. I mean, for those of you who have not made it to Los Angeles and haven't seen the Road Theater, check out the website. You got to check it out, because look at the photos of it. I mean, you got to imagine what they came from a warehouse building out here where you got homeless people outside, porn being shot across the street,
That's right.
to where they are now with the beautiful multi-level building, beautiful rate to seating for plenty of people, beautiful thrust stage, and the outside, literally the building is immaculate, and they have scrolling marquee outside. It's all electronic, and they also have billboards. It's in poster hutches. It's beautiful. The facility is beautiful. They've really come a long way, but that's for her nonstop dedication and drive, and never giving up on her dream of that building, that facility, or the road itself.
The Road Theater itself, the company, the people that come there.
Yep.
You know,
they're winning awards. Their people are working outside of these plays, and like you said, they keep coming back. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the stage.
That's beautiful. Yeah. You guys can't see what we see, but we're looking at the photos online. And I can't wait to get out there with you in person and go catch a show in the next couple of weeks. You down?
Yeah, I'm down. Maybe even get involved in a play reading or something.
I would love to. I would absolutely love to get back.
It's out in the universe now. We're going to make that happen, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm into it. Diego, thank you for bringing on Taylor Gilbert. That was
yeah, man. It's been lovely. It's so funny because, like I said to her at the start, you've known somebody for so long, but really sitting down and having a conversation like this I can't believe has never really happened.
I know.
That's what I love. Why
we're doing this?
Yeah, this is it. Just catching up with people you know, but really getting to know them.
Yeah, this forces us to really dive deep and just have genuine conversations aside from the things you do after hours or parties when you're out after a play. That's right. It's groups of people and you can't really have the intimate one-on-ones. We're so lucky.
Yeah, we are very lucky.
Hey,
cool.
Hey man, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, Diego.
I'm going to. I hope you do the same.
Stay positive and let's go get it.
We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
See ya.
This has been the Actor Factor Podcast with Brad Ashton and Diego Garcia.